He said, don't move. I moved. I turned around. Boom, boom, boom. He started shooting. I got shot, bro, 3 times.
Today we have Lillo Brancato. You might recognize him as Colangelo from A Bronx Tale or Matthew Bevilacqua from season 2 of The Sopranos. This guy has an amazing story, okay? He started off as a child actor. He got discovered when he was 15 years old by Robert De Niro to play the part of C in A Bronx Tale. He then went on to have a really good career, but unfortunately he became a junkie. And in 2005, he was breaking into somebody's house and he ended up being involved in a cop killing, which sent him to prison for almost 10 years. Now he's out, he runs a sober living house, he's back acting, writing, and producing, and he's here to tell us about his arc, how he made it out of the depths and back into society. This was one of my favorite episodes we've ever done. He is everything you think he could be and more. You guys are going to love it. And of course, for a bonus episode with him, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/The Connect Show. Without further ado, I give you Lillo Brancato right here on The Connect.
You could have money, have it all, but if you don't have that sobriety and your recovery, nothing is possible.
That's when I see lights behind me start to flash. And I didn't even think, I just hit it. I was driving like my life depended on it. Then I parked the car, hopped out, closed the door, and I started running.
And he pulls out a burner, a shank, it's like 6 inches. And he passes it to me. And he goes, here, that's yours. Don't ever leave the cell block without this. He was the reason I made it out of that place alive.
So did you know wise guys in Yonkers growing up? Or did you know of them in the neighborhood?
We see them around now. That's just like a part of that whole culture. Growing up Yonkers, the Bronx.
Wow.
You see that all the time.
Still, you still see
Are
big
we on the
guys
record right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but you still see that, Italian organized crime in the boroughs, like when you go up to...
Yeah, I mean, you see,
You don't see them down here. I'm staying in Little Italy while I'm in New York. There is no track-suited gold chain guys walking around, giving little kids dollar bills. Like that is done.
Yeah, but I think that's more of like a caricature
Yeah.
of what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you would some of these guys would walk right by you and you wouldn't even know that it's much I gotta say, like Tony Soprano, the way that guy looked, he was real looking. Like the way that character looked, bold, fat.
Yeah. He looked like he owned like a couple of like tire stores. Like he just looked like a business guy from New Jersey.
Yeah, he was perfect. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't like an exaggerated version of what someone like that would be. You know what I mean? Like he was perfect. But that element's always around. It is what it is. It's just part of, I think, New York culture. It is what it is.
You're fully Colombian,
right?
But adopted by Italian parents,
right?
And why did they do that? Why did they choose to adopt?
Well, my mom and dad, they had a miscarriage of someone that, a kid that would have been 5 years older than me right now. I guess after that wasn't successful, they tried and tried and tried and just were not able to conceive. So then, like they're old school Italian. They wanted,
they want a child.
Yeah.
Are you the only child then?
No, it's my brother Vincent. We're 9 months apart. Once they found out that they were going to get me and all the paperwork went through, my mom got pregnant with my brother Vinny. Very psychological. It's very psychological.
That's wild, right?
Same thing happened with my friend John. He and his wife, tried and tried and tried and tried. Nothing happened. They did the in vitro.
Yeah.
They were having kids. And then right after they had the kids, he said, we had a little sangria, we got a little fresh, and she got pregnant. Just like that. We were trying for years.
You know what it is? There's less pressure.
Right.
Your parents knew there was one of the ways. They just relaxed, and then they slipped one by the goalie.
Pressure's, yeah.
Exactly. It's like when you're trying to get it up on a date, and you're putting so much pressure on yourself, and then you're like, wait, take a step back. You're like, I'm the man.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened with them, and then then now I'm here.
So you grew up in Yonkers. Do you remember Columbia at all? How old were you? Were you just a little baby?
I was 4 months old.
Oh yeah, you don't remember?
So I don't
nothing.
remember
Okay.
anything.
So, but you basically grew up Italian then. You grew up culturally Italian.
Yeah, absolutely.
You look Italian.
Absolutely.
You sound Italian.
Absolutely. Yeah, I grew up Italian.
Your friends in school that you grew up with in the neighborhood, Italian?
My block was Italian. With other than one family, they were Puerto Rican. The Hernandez family. They're still there.
Yeah.
They're still on that street. A lot of people are actually. That block was Italian, but I wouldn't say Yonkers was Italian or my neighborhood. It was like Polish.
Yeah.
There's a big Polish community in
that's
Yonkers.
interesting.
Irish.
Really?
Portuguese.
Black?
Yeah.
Yeah. They got the projects up there. And they got the nice riverfront now too. So it was a whole mix.
I lived down there. I lived down in that riverfront in those, in those buildings. It's Yonkers definitely changed a lot. I mean, down by the water, there's Lionsgate down there now.
Oh, wow.
Lionsgate, they have a studio down there, which I was at a few times. I was there September 5th. We're working on this film, doing some post-production on a film called Sleepyhead.
Okay.
So it takes place in hell. It's actually a cool story.
Nice.
So we're reworking that.
So when did you get into acting? Have you always been an actor?
No, actually, they found me when I was on the beach when I was, 15 years old.
Oh, that's wild, dude.
Yeah.
That does not happen in Hollywood anymore. You had that happened to Matthew McConaughey. You know that story, right?
No, I
He was
don't.
going to law school in Austin, Texas, at the University of Texas. And what's his name? Richard Linklater was in a bar drinking, and he sees this guy, and he's like, this dude's got something. And he goes, hey, man, he strikes up a conversation. He's like, hey, I got this film that we're getting ready to shoot down here. It's called, what is it, Almost Famous? Now, help me out here, producer. It's the one that popped him. But he goes, do you want to, I can write you in or something. And he just kind of shrugs, and he goes, yeah, okay, let's go for it, man. And the most famous guy in the world 5 years later.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look it up.
Was it Dazed and Confused?
Dazed and Confused. There we
Oh,
go.
wow.
Yeah. He was like the all right. High school girls, you get older, they stay the same. Like, he's just brilliant. And,
You guys, I got to take a minute to thank our longtime sponsor and friend of the show, Mood CBD. Mood is the #1 Delta 8 and Delta 9 products company in the country, and they deliver everywhere. Even if you live in a state where you don't have full legalization yet, Mood CBD can deliver discreetly and legally to your doorstep, okay? They have an amazing array of gummies, edibles, pre-rolls, flour, anything you need in the Delta 8 and Delta 9 world, they have. I use their products every day. I use it for my injury. I use it to help me sleep. They're just the best. Go to their website right now, you guys, and use those promo codes. If you're a fan of the show, Connect20 to get 20% off anything on their website, okay? And then, of course, if you want a free 5-count pack of gummies, use promo code CONNECTFREE, and they'll just send you a free pack of gummies. All you do is pay for shipping. Go over to hellomood.co right now and get you some.
what's up, everyone? I'm coming on the road to do stand-up. October 12th, I'll be in Toledo. October 15th, I'll be at Hilarities in Cleveland. November 1st, I will be at the Stress Factory in Bridgeport, Connecticut. November 2nd, I will be in New Brunswick, New Jersey. On the 5th of November, I'm going to be at the New York Comedy Club doing the New York Comedy Festival right here in New York City. November 15th, I'm in Dallas at Hyenas. November 16th, I'm in Austin at the Vulcan. Do not miss that one. On December 14th, I'm in San Diego. And on December 21st, Zanies in Chicago. This is a big one. I got a lot of fans in Chi-Town. Come out to that. Let's pack it out. Get your tickets at johnnymitchell.biz. All right, let's get into the episode. So they found you on the beach. Was it for A Bronx Tale?
Yeah, that was the film. It's going to be 30 years old, September 30th. It's a 30-year anniversary of the film.
That's crazy. My girlfriend's she's like 24, on TikTok all day, doesn't know anything about what's good. I put on A Bronx Tale a couple weeks ago. I was like, I'm getting ready to interview this guy, babe. And she loved it. She was like, oh my God, this is so good. I'm like, yeah, no, they don't make this stuff anymore.
Yeah, it transcends time. It was a very, De Niro was very careful making that film. He put so much time into it, so much effort. He directed it. That was his directorial debut. So
No. De Niro directed that?
Yeah, he directed that.
Chaz wrote it.
Chaz wrote it.
Yeah. Made it pop as a play first.
A one-man play.
Yeah.
He did a one-man play that De Niro went and saw and liked it very much and thought that it would be good if it was made it as a film. It was the same thing as Stallone, who wrote Rocky. They loved the story, but no one wanted Stallone to play Rocky.
Right.
They wanted to play it safe,
right,
and actually go get
somebody who was
bankable,
already,
a star.
And they kept offering him more and more money.
Right, but Stallone
stuck
to his guns, and I don't think there was anybody on the planet that could have played Rocky. I mean, that is him. He is Rocky.
Yeah.
But Chaz held out, and it was De Niro's idea. It was a brilliant idea, saying that Chaz would be great as Sonny, and I think he was.
Right.
because like here comes this guy who knows the material better than him. He wrote it.
Yeah.
This is for him it had been a long time coming. He had wrote that a long time ago. This is like took place in the 60s.
Yeah.
With him growing up as a kid, so he had this here and like it's finally going to get made. So I think De Niro recognized that as well. Like this guy has a fire, a passion inside him to play this character. Not that he created it because it was based on real people and a real story. But I thought that was a great choice by De Niro.
Who discovered you on the beach?
This guy, Marco Greco.
And was he like a casting director?
Oh, yeah, he was like a scout. I don't know if he
Yeah.
was a casting director. He was a casting scout. But at one point in time, the Bregmans, who did...
Yeah, Marty Bregman.
Right.
Big producers back in the 90s.
Right. And before. I mean, he
Yeah.
did Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh, yeah, right.
Carlito's
Oh,
Way.
my God. Yeah,
Scarface.
Taxi Driver.
No. Taxi Driver, someone else. But Scarface.
Scarface, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so the Bregmans...
Carlito's Way, yeah.
They
Man.
optioned the script. And when they optioned the script, De Niro was always going to play Lorenzo, but they love Al Pacino. So Al was going to play Sonny. And that could have been like, if you want to talk box office, that would have made the most money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would have made the most money. But then again, you
it-
got two of the best actors,
right.
two of the best actors
Yeah.
around. But then again, because they are two of the best actors around, and they are going head to head in something like this, would it be too distracting? Like, would you
Yeah,
be watching it to say,
right.
oh, who's doing better? De Niro, oh, wow, that was
Right.
good. Oh, man. But then, like, are you following the story and what
Correct.
it's about and
Correct.
the direction in which
Yeah.
it's heading? But
And
now-
movies that with De Niro and Pacino, besides Heat, historically have bombed, So, yeah, I agree. Like
The Irishman didn't do well.
No, man. I mean, I liked it, but people hated on it. There were a lot of problems with it,
It was, my main problem was it was just too long, but it did
Yeah.
there was a lot of great stuff in it.
Do you know what Hollywood, when I watch a movie like The Irishman, it reminds me of the presidential election. That generation will not go away. Like, why are they still leading films? Why do we have Trump and Biden running for president? They're geriatrics.
Right.
But they don't want to cede power to the younger generation.
Right.
Or maybe those are just failing institutions and they don't have anybody younger that they've reared to like fill the shoes of a Pacino
Right.
or De Niro,
Right.
Same with politics. I don't know. It's an interesting thing though. It's like
Well, the world is much different now, so you wouldn't want, you would want someone who would fill in that, you know what I mean? Fill in that space and what they were as actors and what they brought to everyone.
Right.
But I just think it's so, I don't know.
Also, the game is so much different. You can't blow up by writing a script and starting a one-man show. You can't come up the way that Pacino and De Niro did in New York. Those 60s and 70s trained actors that, got the role of a lifetime after doing these small little bit parts. Movies barely matter anymore, Movies don't matter. TV and even TV to me is becoming less and less relevant
I think,
as social media takes over.
I think the business, the movie industry, the entertainment industry definitely took a huge hit. I don't know if it'll ever be the same again, The Oscars.
Because of COVID or the technology or the strike? Like, why
There's
do
a
you
little
think?
bit of everything.
Everything, right?
Everything's sprinkled in.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you recover from this? You know what I mean? And I think the longer the strike goes on, the harder it is going
Yeah.
to be to come back and
Yeah,
just
for sure.
do what we did. And, and it was like so confusing. And, like after the pandemic, I kind of like just the way everything was. The Oscars just seemed a little more confusing and just the way everything was. And some of these films that were in the Oscars, I'd never even heard of before.
No, of course, because you pay to get your movie in. It's all rigged, man. Like, I'm telling you, the game is Hollywood to me is done for the most part, in my opinion. But look, there's still movies will always be around. There's still money in it,
No, I think if you can make something that touches people's hearts and people can resonate, like they can really resonate with people. Something like, I wrote a film. It's about addiction. It's with the girl from A Bronx Tale. I wanted to do this.
Which one?
Well, it's a film.
The black girl?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's her name?
Terrell Hicks.
That's
It's
right.
called Never Meet Your Heroes.
Oh,
It's
okay.
about addiction. I'm a gambler in the film. I meet her at a karaoke bar. She's an aspiring singer.
Yeah.
And we're both in our element when we meet. She's on stage and I'm at the Joker poker machine and I hear her voice. And then, I promise her I'm going to stop gambling. And I think, and then we have a daughter and then she
Yeah.
becomes an addict. It manifests in a different way.
Okay.
And it's real. I mean,
Yeah.
I've lived this.
Yeah.
I've lived this.
So you still stay in touch with Terrell?
Yeah, she's a really good friend of mine.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Dude, she was so good in that movie.
Yeah.
And then when she grew up a little bit in Belly, she was hot. You remember her? Keisha and Belly?
She looks better now than she did back then.
Oh, unbelievable. Black don't crack.
Yeah.
So getting back to that though, so you're 15. What are you doing? What kind of kid were you? Were you already kind of wilding and headed towards your addiction? Or what were you doing?
No, 15, I was, I was drinking a few beers,
Yeah.
get a little buzz, and that was about it. But at 15, then we started doing the film.
How old were
I
you when?
had turned 16, August 30th.
Okay.
They found me July 5th of 1992. So then we started doing the film. And then
How much did they pay you for that?
The Bronx Tale, I made, altogether, I made like $25,000.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot
Not
of money.
a lot. It wasn't
No.
a big budget.
No, well, it was not even that. It was, I wasn't
Yeah.
anyone.
Right.
So
right.
it's like, why do I got to pay this guy? He should be paying us, if anything. We're giving him this shot.
Yeah.
But I was getting scale, which was $1,620 a week back at that time. But I was just happy to be there and to be in the presence of De Niro and just everything that was going on. So
It's a dream come true.
Absolutely.
Never took an acting class before that?
No.
Never did nothing? Never had aspirations? Wow.
No.
So did they give you classes? Did they give you acting lessons before going in?
Yeah.
Did they give you a teacher or
yeah,
coach?
well, I remember one thing, and my nephew, he was in this film that I did, recently, and I tried to do with him what this woman did with me, because I remember it worked. Because obviously, even if you have it in you, it may take a little effort from whoever to get it out of you. It's there. Some people just don't have it. It's like speed. You can't teach that. You have
Right.
it or you don't.
Yeah.
But say this particular kid, he does have it because we've seen flashes of it. I know what's in there, but now we got to get it out of this kid. We had this lady. She was like an acting coach. So I was going down there every day. I didn't have the part yet. They were working with me because the kid who shot Sonny, he was supposed to be Calogero, but he was 21.
Oh,
They were set on him, but the movie would have been
the guy
different.
that shot Sonny? Oh, at the very end.
Yeah, Phil Garbarino.
He was barely in it though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He was barely, I think you only see his face when he
Yeah,
shoots
yeah.
Sonny.
You know what it is? He tried to read for one of the parts as one of the friends, but it didn't work because he was 21 and all the kids, my friends, all 15, 16 years
Yeah.
old. It wouldn't look right.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Your casting was perfect, but you didn't have the role yet. They said come read for it.
Right.
I got
They said,
you.
come read for it. So now I got this woman that I'm working with, this acting coach, and, she said, I want you to do this for me. She goes, I want you to scream your head off, and I want you to run back and forth in the room. And I'm like, really? She's like, yes, just do it. Trust me, it'll work. I'm like, really? I'm like, I'm running one way. I'm going nuts.
Yeah.
And you know what? That helped.
Yeah.
Because it's like I just made such a fool of myself in front of this woman that I don't even know. And I'm sure they heard me in the other room.
Yeah.
And they knew it was me screaming. So anything else I do now, why would I be nervous when I just did that?
Yeah, they make you do that goofy in acting class, but it's to shed your inhibitions. Because as you become an adult, you put up all these walls. So that's essentially what it is so you feel liberated from whatever kind of self-conscious feelings you have.
Well, yeah, you're shy.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
nervous because it's for many reasons because you have gotten yourself, in a position where this could happen.
Yeah.
You've gotten far enough. You've gotten past the gatekeeper. Okay, so now you're at a place where you're in consideration. They're considering you for this role.
Yeah.
So now, because this was because I went there, it was 20 kids. And then I go the next day, 15. And then the next day, and then it's just me. It's
Yeah.
common sense. Everybody else's was weeded out, and I'm here for a reason.
It's a bunch of shaggy-haired
So
Italian-looking
now
kids.
I know they're really fucking,
Yeah.
they're really considering me. So now it's and that did help because
Wow.
if I feel like when I first got there, you would think I would be more nervous, but because I didn't have anything to lose at that point, because I didn't know how far in the running I was, you know what I mean? So now at that point, it was just like a Hail Mary. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
If not, I could say I got to this point and I'll tell my kids,
Yeah, I almost got to work with De Niro.
Almost. You know what I mean? People call, I almost had your part. I almost had your... So, but you would think the nerves and everything would go away as you're getting callbacks. You know what I mean? You would think that would instill and build confidence to where like, yo, man, whatever I'm doing, it's working because they keep calling me back. But it was the opposite. And then when that lady did that, because now I know they're really watching me. When they have all these people there, they're still watching, they're sitting in the room.
Was De Niro in the room?
There every day.
That's huge. When you're actually in an audition with the director there, that means you're in the running for the part. Like you're in like the top 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
And sometimes in the room.
Do you remember, are there any actors who are famous now that we would know that were up for the part?
Well, from what I heard, Johnny Depp wanted that role of Calogero, and I heard Halle Berry wanted the role of Jane.
Wow.
Yeah.
They were already like 30 though. That wouldn't have worked.
Well, they were trying to make. I mean, look at Beverly Hills 90210. They were all high school kids.
Yeah.
They were in their 30s.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All banging each other,
Jason-
underage and shit. Yeah.
Luke Presley, rest in peace. His hairline was back here. He was
Right.
supposed to be well, mine was too, and that's why I have a shaved head. So, but
Why was you on the finasteride?
look at this guy's hair. Look at this guy.
What?
My God.
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
I know.
what?
He's just a boy, dude.
Oh my
He's just
gosh.
a boy. Well, what's going on? Why didn't you get on the finasteride? Or that you get the little implants? I could have hooked you up. I got a guy. He's in Spain, but he's good.
Well, they say Turkey's the place to go for the hair
Yeah, but
transplant.
it's a sandy country. You're gonna go to get yourself blown up. Go to my guy in Spain. There'll be a jerk off. Well, God, you got me talking like you. Yo, so okay.
You heard what he said? Nick, you hear what he said?
So listen. So you get the part. It's such a broad question, but what was working with De Niro like?
Oh, it was surreal.
Surreal.
Yeah, because
Is he in character or is he just kicking it?
no, he's a very
Like on set.
He's very introverted. Like until he knows you and gets comfortable with you, he's like a very shy guy, very introverted. So that's why it was surreal, because you see this guy playing these prominent roles and these roles that, you know what I mean, like, last a lifetime, and he's playing these big, tough
Larger
characters.
than life.
Yeah.
Jimmy Conway.
Same thing, like even Pacino, he's 5'4", but
Yeah.
on screen looks like he's 9 foot tall. He's
Yeah.
so huge. But that's the same thing with De Niro.
Yeah.
So you're expecting, even if it's not that, maybe a little bit less, a little bit of a diluted version of that. But then when you meet him, it's like something totally different. So that's where the surrealism comes from. Like, holy, I thought this guy was different. And then he's just like, like he gets shy too. But he's
How
he's a
do
good
you
man.
direct when you're shy? Like
No, well, not at that point.
Mm.
Because by that point, he's, he didn't just cast us. We sat with him and, we read these lines inside and out. And we read them with every possible combination of kids. All right, now put him with him, take him out, and now see how this group works. Trust me, there was no mistakes.
So when you guys were actually on set, were you able to bond a little bit? Were you able to talk and get to know each other so you could be as believable as possible, father and son on screen?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
No, absolutely. So I think it was easy for both of us because my dad was around his age and he had a son, Raphael, that is my age.
Yeah.
His son, Raphael, was born in November. I'm born in August of 76. So right there, you know what I mean? It's not a foreign thing to him just because he's got a son that age.
So there was a little father-son dynamic with you guys.
Absolutely.
Do you remember any advice he gave to you or anything profound that you carry with you today?
Advice where is it? Acting purposes or just anything?
Anything. Everything and anything.
I know this is not but it's very simple, but he always said less was more. He always said, because, I think, when you don't know film and how it works, film picks up things that you do. You could do this, and on film, it looks like you did that. Everything's bigger. That's why people look bigger. Everything's bigger. So he told me, he said, trust me, when it comes to film, less is more. He said, you're better off doing nothing than too much.
And
And I always remembered that. Because I'm thinking, right now I have a choice. I could make this big, but Bobby said less is more. Yeah. So you could do it in a less way, which could be more. And I always, even though it's simple advice, but he was very adamant about it. No, Lillo, because he was directing. And sometimes he'd watch something and be like, I know this kid could do it the right way. So listen to what I'm saying. Less is more. You don't got to do all that.
Yeah, because it's essentially just behavior for the editing room. That's what it is. And he mastered that more than anybody. The less is more. Like how many times does he just look at you in a film and it says
There's
everything?
nobody's face that can say as much as his. He's done it so many times, just like in Goodfellas with the cream, and he's looking at him with the, even in The Untouchables. When he was, remember at the opera, and he had that fat face with the bald head, now, and he had the, right? And they had that camera, it was just close up. You see him crying. And then he just turns, and it's just like his whole face turns into something else. There's nobody can do that.
You kind of look like De Niro in Untouchables right now.
But trust me when I tell you, the way he did that, he was crying, watching the fucking opera, and then he just collected himself, and he turned into that mob boss. Al Capone. Just he did it. It's not easy to do that. And people watch and they look, it's a 2-second thing, he did a few things with his face. That's not easy. That's the hardest thing to do. Because you're saying something without saying it, so you really got to be able to sell it.
That's God-given. That's like a rubbery talent. As we said, it's like speed. That's the things you can't teach. Right? So what was your favorite scene? You have so many quotables in there. I'll tell you my favorite first.
I got to tell you, my favorite.
All right, you go.
Oh, I'm so go. You first, brother. You first. Go, brother. Go.
Okay. My favorite is, no. My favorite is, it's really not you, it's Sonny, but Sonny's telling you, what, he's a friend of yours? It's you. The kid won't pay you $20. Is this kid a friend of yours? No. All right, well, there you go. He's out of your life. You got off cheap. That's beautiful.
Yeah, my favorite, I got to say, is probably the funeral scene. Because you got De Niro, you got Pesci, you got Chaz. You got a little piece with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Chaz ain't saying nothing because he's dead, but he's still there the whole time. And he was in there so long, like sometimes even when he had an opportunity to get out, he said, no, let me stay in there. Because then it's a pain in the ass to come back and get settled in.
Like when they were shooting De Niro, he could have gotten out when the camera wasn't on him.
No,
but he stayed in there anyway.
Not even that. Well, he would.
Yeah.
He stayed in there out of respect for De Niro. Because it's harder as an actor. Even though this is off camera, but I'm still supposed to be looking at somebody that's dead, and there's some meaning. There's a meaning. I have an intention. I have intentions right now with this scene, and I just think with you there and me able to look at you, even with the makeup, and you're playing the role of a dead guy. You're not saying anything. You got that makeup, and I just think that definitely helped him out. But you got Chaz. He fell asleep. He's snoring. De Niro's trying to do the scene, and it was low, but then it got louder, and De Niro was really trying to fight, but then we all started laughing. But, even Pesci, that area, that neighborhood, man, that's prominent. Let me tell you, some real street dude, some real tough, that's one of the toughest neighborhoods around.
The
Fordham section of the Bronx,
yeah.
to this day.
Still.
One of the toughest neighborhoods around, the 5 boroughs. They don't get tougher neighborhoods than Fordham.
Is it still Italian up there?
Yeah, it's Italian. It's Albanian.
Yeah, Albanian.
But there's still
Talk about some tough cats.
Yeah, but there's still a very big Italian presence.
So, that's where you filmed it, in Fordham.
Yeah, and those street stars, they're street stars. And then Pesci, if you watch the movie again, Pesci was a somebody. Because remember, he was Carmine. When you watch, remember outside when you hear the narration and you see all the people pulling up and this and that? Watch. Pesci's car pulls up. Somebody opens the door for him, and they can't get in front of him. They're all kissing him, greeting him.
Yeah.
So he's a serious dude.
Right. So
there's no way these grown men are coming to kiss you if you're not a thorough, serious guy. And then when he comes in, it's he was so sometimes I think about the Bronx Tale. You know what I mean? Even though I was in it, but now because I'm so far removed from that age and that character and of that, now I could watch it as a film because I love these movies. And that one is top notch, man. Because when you see Pesci, the way they did that, you didn't know that was him in the beginning. When he goes, you freehole. That word freehole, that's a very authentic.
What does freehole mean?
It's like you jerk off, you freehole. But they don't really say that in Brooklyn or anywhere else. That's a Bronx word.
Wow.
Freehole. That's very, or even when I said, remember when I said she was tall, she was beautiful, and she was classy, but she was black, and that was a no-no. That was a no-no? They say that to this day. I know guys from that neighborhood that were that age then. Oh, that was a no-no. That was a no. Anything, you don't go to anybody's restaurant, you start screaming. That's a no-no. So I'm like, wow, this movie's so authentic.
It's so authentic.
Because I'm, De Niro, really. But the way,
let me ask you, I can barely say it without getting chills, and it kind of it brings like tears up. But that last scene where you ask Pesci, "You would kill that man over a parking space?"
And he goes,
And
no. He said no. Just a-
What does that mean? It was over respect. Is that how you interpret it? Like what did he get killed for? He goes, no. Like what do you think he got killed for?
It could be, it's some kind of street reason for whatever it is.
Yeah. To me, it was respect. Like he disrespected him by.
You never know. You never know. This guy couldn't have been. Listen, it could have been. A lot of times, it's because of money. It's because of money. This guy may be making this much money, but now this guy comes, and because of him doing the same he's doing, now he's making less money. So he's going to say, "Hey, if you're going to do that, you can't do that here because this is where I am, and this is where I've been doing this for like this many years. So you got to go." And then this guy could choose to say, "All right, I respect that. I know who you are. No problem."
That's how you see it.
And then I'll go find another place to do my business. But then some people say, "No, I don't give a this guy. Tell him to come." You know what I mean?
But
and then the guy does come, and then that happens.
But it was so beautiful because it did just leave it up for interpretation. He goes, "No,
But
wasn't
that's
over
great.
a parking space. It was great.
That's great.
It's one of the best films."
You know, I had an idea. Everybody, you know, like, and she knows because, and I talked about it to you, but everyone logically would think if they made a movie about the Bronx, I don't think C would never become a gangster. His life, trust me, he was scared straight. After Sonny got killed and all that, C went back to being the good boy, Lorenzo's son.
But that's why you were the perfect cast, is because they could look at you and see somebody who wasn't a gangster. He was just brought up in the neighborhood as a good kid.
Right.
So
that was
that's
a
why
father-son story.
Right, of
that
course,
happened to be
of
in that
course.
element.
Yes.
That, you know, that's what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
It could have been taking place at the zoo or whatever, but it was really a father-son story.
But if they had cast like a tough kid, it wouldn't have made sense
The other
because
kids
the
were
redemptions,
tough.
the other
but
kids
that
were
shows
tough.
the
Right.
contrast,
That's
the
right.
juxtaposition between mine and
Right.
my friends. But see, like, come turn about, oh, you should have been the boss. That would never happen. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's not real. You could choose to do a movie, a prequel, to answer that question. Why did he kill him? Right? That would have been
They'll
a cool
fuck
thing.
it up though, man. The Sopranos movie, God, what a piece of shit that was.
Yeah, it wasn't-
I'm sorry, David.
Yeah.
Look, let's just
Yeah,
call
it
what
was
it is.
disappointing.
It was I could tell just by the trailer. I'm like, oof, this is gonna
No,
stink.
but you know, I actually thought it was actually going to be. Okay, do you know the title? The title is a play on words. Did you know that?
What, the title of?
The Many Saints of Newark.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Explain.
It's a play on words. The movie was about Dicky Moltisanti.
Right.
Okay. Moltisanti means many saints in Italian. Moltisanti.
Yeah.
So they were the Moltisantis of
Right.
Newark, the
Right.
many saints of Newark.
Right.
So just that alone, I said, wow, that's pretty
it's
clever.
cool. Yeah.
And you know, The Sopranos was unbelievable.
Greatest
I mean,
show.
holy shit.
It's the greatest
writing.
show.
They,
They nailed it. Every line is comedy. It's
You're
fear.
right.
It's amazing.
But here's the thing.
Hold on. Let me get into this. Because I want to back up. This is about you. After A Bronx Tale, your life's changed, I assume.
Of course.
Is Hollywood calling?
Yeah.
You get an agent.
Got an agent, William Morris, Frank Frateroli. It was like right away.
Wow.
Yeah,
and were
yeah.
you getting offers?
Of course.
What was a big role that you went out for post A Bronx Tale, but before Sopranos?
So many. I read for Robin and Batman and Robin.
Wow.
Yeah, I went.
Wow.
I had an audition with Steven Spielberg, but I f***ed that up because I chose when to do drugs the night before.
Oh,
It was a Friday, 10:30 in the morning audition in the room.
in Hollywood.
No, in New York City. That's what I'm saying. Spielberg was here.
What was the movie?
You know, Saving Private Ryan. Oh, yeah, it was for the Vin Diesel role.
Oh,
not to say that I would have been better than Vin. I know Vin, and I thought he was great, and I thought, you know,
You
for
could
that-
have did it though. You could have did that.
But you know, the bottom line is, you know, that's what happened. I went out, sniffed coke the night before, and I said, you know what, I'll be all right. I said, I'll probably be, I'll be able to get back in 10:30. That's late. I'm gonna get home. 5, 6 I'm sleep right now. It didn't work out that way. And then I called my manager.
What happened? You were up all night?
Yeah, I called my manager and I said, you know, can we reschedule? Reschedule. He's leaving.
Yeah.
He's been here. He was here this week. He's in New York seeing actors in New York for this, you know, like,
Yeah.
and you have an appointment to sit with
And
this
he's
guy.
Steven Spielberg.
You know,
Do you make the president reschedule?
You know?
Damn.
Yeah, but this is these are like this kind of stuff haunts me.
Right.
You know, I think about this, and there's people that would kill to even be near that guy.
Right.
But to have the opportunity to be in
Right.
the room, and this guy's like, his eyes are on you.
Yeah.
His focus is you for
Yeah.
whatever that amount of time is.
Right.
But real quick, back to Sopranos. They've done that genre a million times. Oh, gangster movie, blah, 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 blah. But now they made that, and it started in 99, right? 98, 99. The writing was great. Everything was so fresh and so new, but they never, ever sacrificed authenticity. The show never became silly, even though the writing was, it's kind of stupid. But right or wrong, it always stayed authentic. Like even like the stuff they came up with, some of the even the one when I got killed. Okay,
Yeah.
do you see the writing in that? Michael Imperioli wrote that. Christopher.
That scene?
Yeah. Do you know how brilliant that is to come up with soda, Diet Coke?
Dude, when you were drinking this,
Come on,
when
bro.
you were drinking, drink it, give it a deep drink. That's right, dude. That's it.
But just for him to say, you know, like you sure you don't want a sugar, a soda with
Something
some real
with
sugar?
sugar?
In it?
Yeah.
It was only Fanta. And he's a rat. He got a wire on him.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Man.
Oh my God! Yeah, the guy who gives you the Fanta is
Vincent
is
Pastore, big pussy.
big pussy,
Bob
who's
Pincero.
wearing a wire the whole time
That's
as
correct.
he's killing you.
That's correct.
We're gonna get to that though. So, but I'm curious to like the progression of like your drug use. Like, how does that? You know, after A Bronx Tale, you got a little bit of money. You certainly got some clout. But you're still a kid, basically. You know, you're 17 years old, 18 years old.
Very much so.
So, does that kind of stardom or that, you know, being a somebody now, does that accelerate the drug use?
Of course. Because,
Okay.
you know, like I've talked about this before, like I saw a psychiatrist when I was a kid, and he always said that I could see someone with your personality and the things that you spoke about, and you always talked about excitement and, you know, how he said that I knew someone with your personality would gravitate toward drugs. And he also said that I would be good in the dramatic arts.
Wow.
He also said
called
that.
it.
Yeah.
Because you have that. You're a very like strung up,
Oh my gosh.
guy. You got a lot of latent energy, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, look at you now. You're ripped. You go to the gym. You're eating a beef jerky.
Yeah, I know.
What decade are we living in?
Yeah, I know.
But so you know, so you got that. But drug addicts and I've been to jail. I've been to prison. Trust me, I know
Yeah?
drug addicts. Yeah, I mean, this is a crime podcast. You know,
Okay.
I was a big time drug dealer, but you know, so I was around a lot of drug addicts. But do you think it was something about being adopted? Like, if you looked into like how that maybe like a sense of abandonment, your psyche up?
You know,
Does that have anything to do with it?
my brother thought that, and that's why maybe my mom and they thought I should go see someone. They thought that's why I was doing drugs. Hey, listen, as far as I'm concerned, from what I can see on the surface, no, that's not a problem. Because I consider myself lucky. Because people do, you know, like sometimes I don't necessarily look at it as being abandoned. You know what I mean? I kind of frame it a different way to like maybe these people's lives were so bad and they knew there's no way they're going to be able to give this
No, of
child
course
a
not.
good life.
No.
So it's better off we do the right thing and actually give him a shot and some couple who can't have children a shot to have a kid.
No, it's a beautiful thing. I don't deny it.
And I was so young.
Yeah.
I was 4 months old. So it's not like I came when I was like already 7 or 8, where I was in one place, realized what was going on, and then like, get the f- out, we
Right.
don't want you anymore.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then you go to somewhere else, then of course, then you would, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think because I was so young, my parents are great. My
Yeah.
parents are great. They gave me everything. So.
It's baffling. It's baffling how some people just maybe just are predisposed to being addicted, and then you try it and you like it, and then it just your habit gets away from you, right?
Absolutely.
So now you graduated high school. Did you go to college at all?
I did some college I got an associate's degree. I earned an associate's degree.
But did you ever go out to LA? Did you ever say, I'm going to move to LA and to try to make it pop? Or did you stay out here the whole time?
I stayed out here, but I've spent significant
Mm-hmm.
amount of time out there. You know, and I'd go out there 2-3 months at a time. I would every like pilot season.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
go out there beginning of the year, and I'd start
Right.
going out for all the pilots.
Right. So did you work between A Bronx Tale and The Sopranos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did Renaissance Man, Crimson Tide. I did some pretty good stuff.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay. So were you doing drugs in between the roles?
Well, yeah, I mean, Bronx Tale started, you know, we did that in 92, came out in 93, and I started dabbling in the weed in 92, November. That's when that started.
Right.
You know, the alcohol was always there, but that's
Yeah.
like acceptable because
Of
you can like,
course.
you know, you go to the
Right.
It's accepted. You go to the store and it's not, but so then Crimson Tide, Renaissance Man was 94, then 95 was Crimson Tide. So I would say 96, 97, 98, that's when it started getting bad. The
Cocaine.
The cocaine, yeah. It was a weekend thing.
Right.
You know, I'd be good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday. You know
That's
what
right.
I mean?
It's basically the weekend on Thursday.
Yeah, it starts. But this is the way it was. This is how I would do it. I would go out Thursday. I'd go so crazy Thursday. I'd sniff so much blow, and I only did it out of the right side of my nose. So, because the other side wasn't strong enough to pull it. It wasn't strong enough to pull it. So I do it to the right side, right? So then I guess because like it affects the muscle in your eye that turns the eye left to right. So I guess because it up that muscle so bad and, you know, overdoing it for all those hours, that you make me like this. Like the next day, because like the muscle was like so weak.
Cross-eyed.
Yeah, cross-eyed, tearing out of one eye. Yo, it's up. My mother's
bro.
like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Damn. And this is when Coke in New York City is still really good, too.
Oh, I remember when I first did it, we got it off Fordham Road across the street from the VA hospital in the Bronx.
Wow.
This is back in like 93,
Who was serving it back then?
93, 94. It was Dominicans.
Right, of course.
You go in the building. I remember it was 47. You don't knock on the door. You ring the doorbell. When you ring the doorbell, they look, and then if they know it's you, you hear like 6 locks.
Yeah.
They open the door, and you look straight ahead, right? There's a hallway, and then there's a kitchen all the way down there, but the light's off. And there's a guy literally with a gun just sitting against the stove. Like, he doesn't say nothing. He's going to say something if you try to rob the place. It's going to leave you dead in that place.
Yeah.
Okay? So you see that already, you know this is not a place to, you know.
You're like, this is going to be good Coke.
Yeah, but it was great.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, like when you did the and your whole everything got numb and your throat was so numb that you don't even realize you're swallowing, but you are, but you can't.
Right.
You're like,
and then you
that's
can drink all night.
Yeah. And but you know, that's a combination of the was really good and also it was new to your body.
Yeah.
It starts because like I think it's like the devil. Like, you know, there's a saying in Italian, when the devil caresses you, he wants your soul. So I think that's the period of caressing. It's very seductive. That's the way you perceive it. And then before you know it, then you're experiencing psychosis and looking on the couches.
And that happened to you.
Of course. Look at the back of my head. I jumped out of a car. Yeah.
Wait, what?
I jumped out of a car one night. I was doing like 60 miles an hour with like my friends, and I got like really paranoid off the blow, thinking these guys were going to kill me. And I jumped out of the car. Holy, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you're lucky to be alive.
Yeah, and the
at
screenplay
60.
I'm writing, that psychosis.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you the premise, but trust me, there's never been a film that showed that psychosis. I lived it. I used to see the shadows in the walls, and I used to go like this.
Yeah.
I used to be against the wall in a motel by myself for 3 days, all right? Totally naked, all right? Blow on the thing. There's nobody in, and it's like the middle of the summer, and it's like a Tuesday, and it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm in this like piece of motel, and naked against the wall, and wired out of my mind going like this. You know why I'm doing that? To see if that's my shadow on the wall. Because if I go like this and it moves, it's me. If it doesn't, we got a problem. You know?
Dude, it's like you're a crackhead.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's crackhead.
It's the same.
Yeah.
I've done that too. Me and like 3-4 guys, like, you know, carpet surfing is.
No. Oh, well, you're looking for the shards, right?
Yeah, you're looking for anything. You put popcorn in the stem. Oh, it looks like something. And then you put like, but that's what that stuff does. It brings you to your knees, man.
So it starts to get bad around 96, 97, 98. But then look what happens. The Sopranos pops and season 2 comes around. That's where your character, Brendan Bevilacqua, right?
No, mine, Matthew Bevilacqua.
Matthew Bevilacqua, gotcha.
And my friend was Sean Gismonti.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So yes, Matthew Bevilacqua. Great name. Just like, I never forgot that name.
Yeah. You know what that means, Bevilacqua?
No.
Drink water.
Wow.
Bevilacqua.
Yeah. All right. Gotcha. When did you read for that part? And were you up for any other roles in The Sopranos?
Well, I read for the first season. Christopher's friend, Brandon Falone.
Oh, Brandon Falone.
The kid who got shot in the shower.
Shot to the eye, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I read for that role. They said I was young. But at that point, it was just basically a concept. You know, it was an idea. They didn't know it was going to go over that big.
Right.
So they said, if we get another season, we'll bring you in for something that's, we
Yeah.
feel you're right for.
Do you feel like your character was better than Brendan?
yeah.
It was, right?
Yeah.
Because Brendan was kind of
A lot of people don't even remember Brandon.
yeah.
Not to discredit Anthony DeSanto, because I know him. He's a very good actor. I just think the part was small, number one. And number two, it was all the way in the beginning.
Right.
And then 8 seasons later,
Right.
it's harder to
You
remember.
forget him.
Right.
It was a different show by the end.
Right. It was even a different show by the second season.
Yeah. Right.
It evolved by the second season.
Your character had an arc, like a real arc. And you were the guy that wanted too much too fast.
Right.
And your partner in it, but if those of you who haven't seen it, go watch it. Well, what are you doing? You've been living under a rock. Go watch the entire Sopranos series. But season 2, you guys are just punks that are trying to get in good with Tony's crew.
Exactly.
And your partner wants to be like, no, look, we gotta just stay in line. We gotta, wait our turn. Whatever they say do, we do. And you're like, no, we gotta make a move, right?
Yeah, no,
we gotta do something big.
These people, this guy's treating us like
Yeah.
what the man, we went to Pace College.
But it was great though. Like you just you had a very meaty role.
Yeah.
Did you lay off the blow when you had to go to work?
No.
Really?
No, that's something. It's like at that point, it was hard to lay off. If it was there and I was drinking, I'm doing it.
Was anybody doing coke on the Sopranos set beside you?
I didn't see anybody.
But you would get high and then go act?
Well, what would happen is I wouldn't go get high and go act. I would be high from the night before, and I would sleep for an hour, and I'd still feel the effects.
And those are 12-hour days on set.
Yeah. I remember one time I was high on heroin from the night before because I sniffed so much blow that I needed the dope just to come down so I could go to work and actually be a normal guy.
And is that how you got into heroin? Was that the beginning of your heroin habit?
Well, no, it started when I jumped out of that car because then I f***ed my head up so bad that they were giving me the pain pills. And then the pain pills turned into that.
Right.
But on the day of The Sopranos, when Furio comes to remember, when he wants his money?
He cucks you guys out.
Yeah. That scene, that night, it was crazy because that night, the night before, I was out sniffing and partying and all that. So I was high on dope because that was powerful. I didn't do dope all the time.
Right.
So you sniff one bag, you're feeling nice for 2 days.
Yeah.
Sleep like a baby, itching. But it's like, what is that? It's all empty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing good ever comes out of it because I've seen it on the other side. And it's like, what did I do all that for?
Yeah.
It did nothing but destroy my life. It was nothing but destruction. But that scene, when we did, that was high from the night before. They didn't know what was wrong with me. So obviously, when you're on set, Lillo, you want a water? You want a water? There's waters everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody's got, hey, Lillo, water. You get 9, but that's a nice thing. It's a good thing. But I'm drinking that water. They had to have a bucket for me. As soon as they go,
Puking. That's
Yeah.
right, because that's what you do when you're coming down off dope.
well, not even that.
Or
Yeah.
when
yeah.
you're high on dope.
You're high on
and you're
dope.
not used to it. Yeah.
Right.
You're vomiting.
You're
Yeah.
vomiting. But it feels good after you vomit. It's
Right.
it's like euphoria all over again. It's like the
Wow.
best vomit. But
Well,
it's like,
you couldn't tell because they kill that scene is great. I mean, you guys are like standing in your underwear as this big, guy from the other side just basically shakes you down for cash. And then he goes in Italian, he's like, they suck each other's.
questo due su con uno cazzo con l'altro. That's what he says. He's two suck each other's.
Do you speak any Italian?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Did your father speak Italian? How'd you learn it? Your parents?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so they're from Italy.
Oh, yeah. They're off
these
the boat.
are
And that's
real-
why, that's not, that's not common that people from Italy, like immigrants, would adopt.
No.
But they love children. They all want children. The fact that they couldn't have one made them so desperate that they would even consider doing that.
Right.
And then they did.
Right. Especially a non-Italian.
Right. And then you had my brother Vincent. I'm born August 30th, 1976. He's born May 12th, 1975. It's 9 months.
Yeah.
It's 9
Maybe
months.
your mother in Colombia did some, because coke was starting to explode in Colombia in 76. Maybe she treated her nose while she was pregnant. You never know.
You never know.
And it got into your bloodstream. Who knows?
Oh, I mean, it didn't even have to be from her. It could have been something that she was passed on. Because I think that, the coca leaf in Colombia is used for many things, not only for
course,
that.
of course.
They got colas.
Yeah.
Like colas that are, from that stuff. They got food that's made with
Put it
that.
in your tea.
Yeah, no, they use that coca for a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
of course.
So, of course, it's going to get in the body.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
then it becomes part, you know what I mean? But then the way they make it, to that white powder
Yeah,
from
of course.
a plant, there's a lot
Of
that
course.
goes through that.
Of
You're
course.
making poison.
Of course.
It's like,
So how many episodes of season 2 were you in before
I
you
was
get
in
killed?
5.
Yeah.
And then I was in a flashback, which
Right.
I get residuals for.
That's sick, bro.
So I'm not complaining.
So you get HBO residuals.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
It's not
great.
a lot, but it's still, you know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
never know when they're coming, and like, oh wow,
Right.
I just gotta check that.
How do they? Let's pull the curtain back a little bit. So your episode, your role ends when you get shot to death because you guys try to kill Chris, the made guy.
Right.
They catch you.
He wasn't made yet.
No, he wasn't made. You're right. But he's he's the nephew
Yeah.
of the boss.
Remember, he lost his spleen.
That's
and,
right.
And he got no
I
spleen.
got no spleen, Gene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you get shot? You get shot so many times. How do they make it look like blood? They put packs on you?
Yeah, yeah.
What is it?
They're called squibs. They're like little packs of like sugar blood. And this whole thing, it's like I got this whole, like this is made by special effects.
Yeah.
You watch that scene, you see the sweater's puffy. No one will ever notice it, but you watch that sweater's puffy.
Right.
Because I got like a whole thing underneath that's rigged with like 7 blood packs.
Right.
Okay? And it's hooked up to wire that goes through my pants all the way through the bottom of my pants that are all linked up over there. And you got some special effects guy in the corner, and he knows, because you'll rehearse it. You rehearse it for camera. You know, like basically it's going to go like this. You know, Jimmy's going to take the first shot, bang! And then there's going to be a little delay because then he looks at him, so then it's going to be bang, bang, bang. You know what I mean?
And then he pulls the
Yeah, there's
the
something
pack
that
to make
I'm
it.
sure now that was in 90, that was in like 2000,
2000.
99,
Yeah.
2000. I'm sure now the technology, they don't. It's
more sophisticated.
Yeah, wait, but I'm thinking back then,
Yeah.
it was wires.
And then they say just act like you're getting brutally shot to death.
Yeah.
And you just and how many takes did it take?
You can't do a lot of those.
You can't do a lot of those.
How many
You got to
shirts
nail
are you
it.
going to have? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what it is? There was so much stuff. There was so much coverage because you got the 2-shot. Then you got him shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got him shooting. Then you got my leg where the blood's coming down. You could use that. And then if you get like literally a millisecond of me just doing that and you cut right back
Right.
to him, that's all you need.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the beauty of editing.
Mm-hmm.
Editing, it makes everything.
Totally.
You could go
Totally.
in a hard drive, or you could go looking like whatever, you know, whatever footage you have. Now, you may have something that's part of this scene, but because it's just you here and we don't see the wardrobe, you know what? That was a really good look. I think that would make it great reaction for when he said this. Let's just put this in this scene. They'll never, you know what I mean? I've
Yeah.
seen that done before. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
That's amazing.
But that's
movie magic.
But that's why you can't teach somebody that.
Right.
Somebody has to know that. You can't go to school to be an editor and they're going to, you know what I mean? I mean, they could teach you that, but just to have that, just to pull something from somewhere else, of course they can teach
The
that.
best editors could also be great directors because
Right.
they have that artistic eye that you can't teach.
Today's episode is brought to you by HelloFresh. A crazy schedule can make it easy to fall back into your dinner time recipe rut. Keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. Even though the fall can feel jam-packed, HelloFresh makes whipping up a home-cooked dinner actually doable with quick and easy options, including their 15-minute meals. That's less time than it takes to get delivery. And with everything pre-portioned and delivered right to your door every week, it really is a no-brainer. We all know HelloFresh takes the hassle out of mealtime, but did you know it can also save you money? HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% less expensive than takeout. That means less stress in your day and more money back into your pocket. You guys, I've used a lot of these meal prep delivery companies in the past. HelloFresh is without a doubt my favorite and the best. You mean, you heard me right there. It costs less money than takeout and the grocery store, and it's healthier. Plus, it will just save you time. They give you ingredients, different recipes, 40 different recipes to choose from. And especially during this holiday season, who has time to cook 3 meals a day? I certainly don't. That's why HelloFresh can help you save money and stay fit. Right now, go to HelloFresh.com/50Connect. That's 50Connect, and use promo code 50Connect to get 50% off plus free shipping. Did you hear that? That's half off. And shipping doesn't cost anything. You have literally nothing to lose. Once again, use that promo code 50Connect for 50% off plus free shipping. Thank you, HelloFresh. Let's get back into it. Hey guys, let me take a minute to shout out Prize Picks. It's football season. Do you like firing on action every Sunday as much as I do? Prize Picks is the most fun I've ever had, winning up to 25x my money. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less their projected stats, and place your entry. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. And check this out. If you're really into it, you got to know this. With Prize Picks reboot policy, your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets hurt, which is big, especially during the NFL season, right? If you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with injury insurance. That's big, you guys, okay? Head over right now to prizepicks.com/connect and use code CONNECT, CONNECT, for a first deposit match up to $100. I love this. I personally am not a huge sports fan, but putting action down on the games keeps me engaged with the NFL every Sunday. And this is a great way for the expert or the casual sports fan to really come up this football season. Again, head over to prizepicks.com, use that promo code CONNECT to get $100 matched on your first deposit, and go have fun, guys. Thank you to Prize Picks. Let's get back into the episode.
Tell us about James Gandolfini. I mean, it's just the greatest character of all time. The Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
He's amazing. What is he like? Did you have any interaction with them?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I knew him prior to that.
Really?
Yeah, we did Crimson Tide together.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Did he help you? Did he put in a word to David
I don't know
Chase?
if he did. I mean, but we did have a good rapport. I did have a good rapport with him. We did like each other, and I knew him from then. And I don't think maybe he did. You know, maybe he did.
Did you hook up with anybody on the set? Did you bang?
No.
What's her name?
No,
Drea.
no.
Drea.
Well, we did a film together where we play heroin dealers.
Oh.
No, but she's my friend. I don't like doing that.
You don't hook up.
Yeah, you can't.
You don't want to
that.
be irresponsible.
Well, it's not even that. The way I
Coming
look
in
at,
on dope.
No, well, now those days are over. But and something like that back then I couldn't really control.
Yeah.
But now I can control it. Now if I
No,
go
of
back and do
course.
it, it's a conscious effort. It's conscious.
Mm-hmm.
It's a conscious. It's not a fucking disease and all that. I'm 17 years into it. If I go back now, it's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's nothing to do with me having a disease.
Yeah,
I don't even
yeah.
think that exists.
Ah,
But I don't.
I'm gonna talk about that. Yeah.
But the way you look at it, it's like such a beautiful opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to be on a set and to have the opportunity to work and do something that you love. That I just don't think it's the place to do that.
No, of course not.
You just don't. And I'm not just saying that to sound good. It's just
Well,
not
for
like,
the Patreon, we're gonna talk. We're gonna do a little bonus episode after this where I want to talk like some behind the scenes Sopranos stuff, just because it's fascinating. It's part of American history. Like it really is part of American film history. Did you get paid well? Did they pay well?
I did okay
back then.
It was all right, But
Yeah.
I did a show on CBS. Obviously, you get a lot more
Yeah,
money. It's
network,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Right.
HBO was HBO, and that Sopranos, that was groundbreaking. There weren't shows like that before that. That paved the way
Made
for
HBO.
shows
Yeah.
like
then The
that.
Wire, and then the rest is history.
Wire was just as good.
Yeah. The writing wasn't as good because they used local actors. They didn't use real actors, and some of the writing was, in my opinion, a little on the nose. But
Yeah.
we can argue that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens after The Sopranos then? Like now you're back on the map, I assume. Are you still getting calls? Are you still getting offers?
Yeah. I did a film with James Caan right after that. I did a film called In the Shadows, Cuba Gooding Jr. This was back in 2000. Matthew Modine
Okay.
had a nice role in that. Played a
Okay.
stuntman.
Wow.
And then, Abel Ferrara.
Yeah.
Bad Lieutenant's my favorite film.
Oh my
ever.
God.
And
I
I
just watched King of New York the
and
other
I
day.
pay homage to it in the film that I wrote.
Okay.
Just like with the book he keeps calling.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar. And you think, and then the way that movie threw you off, like the Dodgers lost and the Mets, the Dodgers really won.
Yeah.
And then when the Mets won, I was like, what the f-? And I would love that. Well, I'm throwing you off in this because that's my favorite. So I kind of want to play homage to it. It's
Yeah.
like- but, so yeah, I met Abel Ferrara. I met him in a strip club in New York City. The writer of the film that we actually did, it was called Our Xmas. His name was Scott Pardo. he comes up to me. He says, "Hey, Abel Ferrara's here." You know, I was like, "Really, Abel Ferrara?" You know, because I love that. And I love King of New York. I like Lieutenant better, but King of New York was also great.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I said, "Oh yeah," he said he would like to meet you. He thinks you got a great look, and he thinks that you may be right. And then he was like, "Hey, aren't you?" And then he was like, "Oh, you're that kid from there. You are an actor." Then I met Abel. Yeah, you know, like it's like, you know, it's like, I don't know if you ever, did you ever meet him?
I never met him, but I seen interviews with him. That's
Yeah. And he's got the hair like in his face, and
Trip, man.
and he rocks back and forth.
Yeah.
But he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's clean now.
Yeah.
We emailed one time. He was in Rome.
He's living in Italy.
Yeah, he's living in Italy. He's got a baby. I'm so like, you know, man,
Yeah.
he's a good dude.
Yeah,
I mean, Abel,
that's
you know,
good.
because we were both in active addiction back in the early 2000s.
I believe it, man.
And we were both up. And for this guy to say, like, I want you to be in this film, I literally auditioned in the hallway. In the hallway. I was up against another actor. I won't even say his name. Personally, I don't know. I think that kid would have been more right for the role than me.
What was the movie called?
RXmas with Dre
okay.
DiMatteo. That kid would have been more right, but Abel just liked me. So, like, we're in the hallway, all right? Lou DiGiamo, casting, you know, Lou, he did friggin' The Gladiator, The Godfather.
Yeah, I heard
Lou's
of him.
as big as they
Yeah.
get, and his son took over the thing. So that casting company was casting RXmas. First of all, Abel shows up late, and when he shows up, he's got a brown paper bag with a 40 ounce of Budweiser, right? And he walks like that, and his eyes are like half open. Yeah, you look great, all right? Yeah, no, all right, no, all right, just come outside, all right, yeah, all right, do it, just do the accent. So I was doing, all right, yeah, you got the part, all right, yeah, no, he's got the part, that's what, all right, let me go,
He's such an artist. He's such like a
Comes
fucking...
in, I did two, yeah, all right, you got the part, and he just, all right, I'm leaving, and then he leaves, but I got the part.
Yeah. So you're working still,
Yeah,
but
I guess.
you know what lead us up to when the incident happened that sent you to prison? Because
yeah.
when I heard that, my buddies and I, like, I was in college when this happened.
How old are you now?
I'm 37.
Okay.
So this
Okay, about 10
happened.
years.
Yeah. So I think it happened in what?
05.
05. And I'm like, Reggie, you're not gonna believe this, because we're huge Sopranos fans. We're like, this kid, you know. So we got it convoluted. I think the streets that didn't know any better thought you were the one that killed a cop.
Right.
So
Well,
we were
that's-
like, damn, respect.
Yeah.
That kid, the kid from A Bronx Tale, Colangelo, he was really about that mess, I guess. So, and I don't want to make light of it, but, it was just like a funny thing because that's not what happened. So I want to tell us about those years and what led up to it, and your addiction, and what, unfortunately came that fateful night that,
Well, at that point
We're
in
all
time,
ended.
like when I jumped out of the car, then I got into the pain medication. And then once the pain medication, that changed my whole life, because the cocaine was like a weekend warrior type of thing.
Right.
And I don't think it would have ever went past that. Because I used to do cocaine, I used to get all weird on it. So there's no way I would be doing it all week. It's
Right.
only when I drank. When I was sober, I wouldn't go anywhere near it.
and the heroin.
But the heroin is just like, you can act normal, you can eat, you can go to sleep, and you're like, what the man, why didn't I do this first? It's like you don't even want to do cocaine anymore. Wow. The cocaine, the come downs right away. You do it no more, and now you're like bugging out until you fall asleep. But the heroin, it just happens so subtly, you know what I mean? Because you're like, you do it, you go to sleep, you eat, and everything's cool. You wake up the next day like nothing happened, like, all right. You
Really?
like,
you don't nod off? You're not
but
nodding off?
Yeah, you are a little, but the bottom line is like the cocaine is affecting your life. Mm-hmm. I'm missing appointments. I'm doing stuff like that because I get all geeked out. But then it's like this stuff feels better than that, and there's no repercussions. I was able to wake up. So then you start to slowly move over to that. So now that becomes your new drug of choice. So then you're doing that without realizing that it's a physical addiction. Oh, yeah. So now that, 9 days into it, like I was doing the pills all the time because they felt so great.
Like oxys?
No, this was the Vicodin. And this before oxys.
Right.
And you're doing them. And then like the one day, like, cause my mom, they had them all over the house. They didn't realize like these are drugs, and I'm stealing them, and I'm taking like, wow, these things are great. And then the one night when I didn't have them, I didn't realize what it was, but I went to sleep and I'm like sweating and tossing and turning, and I thought I was sick. but it was something off. I'm like, but I'm not sick. I don't feel like, when you feel sick inside, like the cough, you just feel it. You know something's wrong. But I didn't feel that way. It didn't feel like something was all the way wrong, but something was wrong enough to prevent me from sleeping. So I was like, what is this, And then I remember talking to somebody, and they're like, yeah, bro, because you've been taking those things. You don't have any more, bro. You're going through withdrawals. I'm like, oh, like I'm becoming a junkie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're slowly becoming that.
And so when did you start going strictly to heroin?
I would say by early 2005.
Okay. So you're picking up powder heroin.
But 01, 2, 3, 4, that was pills.
Yeah. And then why did you get rid of the pills? Why'd you say forget the pills?
Because the pills, believe it or not, were becoming too expensive.
Ah.
They were becoming too expensive because I was doing so many. I was doing 30 in the morning, 30 at night.
30, so 60 pills a day.
Yeah, that's
God
times
damn.
3. That's like, it's big money.
Yeah.
It's like, but you had, like it got that bad. So it's like, what the
What
do
is
I do
60
now?
pills? What is the equivalent of that for the same high in heroin? Like a gram?
Well, it all depends on the heroin. Because the pills, they're made in a lab. So you know exactly what you're going to get. When you get a 10 milligram of this, it's going to be that every time. Because it was made. But now you go get dope. It could be the same stamp, and which has a good reputation, and it's known to be potent. But now you maybe got a batch that's a little older. It's not as fresh. So you can't count on it being what it was. But just for some reason, the dope, I don't know if it was psychological. I was paying all that money. And then I had this kid, Mike, from my neighborhood. He was like, used to go to work in Manhattan with a suit and tie. And he would stop off in the Bronx on his way home. And he would get dope.
Wow.
And I would give him money. And he would get me the dope. And in the beginning, it was like 3 bags a day, $30 compared to all the shit I was just spending.
Right.
So you're like, this is the best thing in the world. I'm getting just as high. You know what I
Saving
mean?
hundreds of dollars.
And I'm not killing my liver with all that Tylenol.
Right.
I'm sniffing a little powder and I'm feeling just as good. So you're like, this is great. But that's not the way it stays. The heroin creeped up and gave me such a habit so much faster than the pills. So before you know it, you got to sniff 20 bags a day to be like normal, not to be like, just to be normal.
Just to be well.
Yeah, to not have aches and pains and just to be able to go about your day normally,
This is why dope dealers, they say heroin's a better drug to sell than coke, because heroin is a physical addiction. You have to have it.
It's every day.
Or you're going to get sick.
Right, it's every day. But that's all,
So you're spending a couple $100 a day now on smack.
Yeah, both. And then the other then when toward the end, they got to the crack and that. So I'm spending like $400 or $500 a day.
Holy.
And then that night, happened. We weren't there. Like I've said this before, we weren't there to rob the house. There was 2 witnesses that heard me screaming the guy's name.
Okay,
Hey,
so
after
let's,
I got shot.
Okay,
You don't
so
do that.
so tell us about that night, because I actually don't really know what happened.
Well, I was with my ex-girlfriend's father. She didn't want to be with me anymore. She was like, doing really well in school and had, ambition. She wanted to really do something with her life. And, I was getting in the way at that point. She didn't want to be with me. I moved back home.
And are you a kind of a junkie now by
Yeah.
2005? Can we call you like a mess?
Yeah,
You're a dope head.
By like fall, and then yeah, absolutely. So then I became friends with her father as a reason to be able to go buy the house, so she didn't call the cops. So then we went out that night. We never hung out after hours. It was always go to the bar, pick him up, we go get drugs, drop him off, and I go my way. But it wasn't like that.
Oh, so he was getting high too.
Yeah, he was getting high too.
Okay.
So we went there that night, and I knew the guy whose house we were going to, and I wanted to just get his attention. I knew Tylenol. Yeah, I broke his window, but when you're a junkie and you know that's your friend, because it was my friend, I made all that noise.
I don't understand. Who your friend? It was your friend's house?
Well, it was my friend, but they're saying it was a burglary
Why were you going over there though?
because he had Tylenol with codeine, and we couldn't find dope anywhere else. So I just needed to get well till tomorrow morning, live to
Right.
fight another day.
Right.
Because the codeine is still an opiate.
Yeah.
I mean, you may not get high, but it's going to take away that pain.
Sure.
And you're going to go to sleep, and then tomorrow it's another day.
Yeah.
And then, and that's what it was. But I knew the guy, and that's why I made all this noise. And, there was witnesses heard me screaming Kenny after I
Hold
was
on,
shot.
you went there? Okay, so tell us step by step. You go there, you knock on his door, you try to wake him up to get the codeine?
Well, I tried to go through the garage. I went try to go through the garage. We didn't. We left and came back. And then, I broke the window. Then came back, and then there was it was just I don't want to go through the whole thing. I mean, I don't have a civil case anymore.
Right.
And, I mean, that's another thing too. won the civil case as well.
Okay.
You know, criminal and civil. It's not like I'm bragging, but like people to this day, like on my Instagram, I get people every single day, you know, "You're a cop killer, you piece of
Your
this
friend
and
was a cop.
No, well, they just say calling me a cop killer.
But
because,
I'm just asking about the facts. He was a cop.
No. The guy who got killed was a cop. He lived next door. He heard the broken window. So he came out. He started shooting. I got shot, bro, 3 times.
Holy.
Yeah. So, you know, like.
So so you guys are basically trying to break in
Right.
or get your friend's attention.
Right. He was no innocent victim. You know what I mean?
So
he
this-
came out shooting first. And, you know, it's not about him being a cop. Nobody even knew he was a cop. He said, "Don't move." I moved. I turned around. Boom, boom, boom. He's shooting an unarmed man. And then somehow, some way, I get lumped into this as a murderer.
Okay, so
You're a cop killer. How? I didn't even have a gun that night. The death was caused by a firearm, right?
Yeah.
So how am I a cop killer if I didn't have a gun and I was shot? See, this is the greatest lie ever
wild.
told. I was a drug addict. But no, you cop killer. But no, I'm not. I
Hang
want to
on.
ask people, what's the guy that did it? What's his name? Do you know his name? So obviously you're not that vested in this whole thing. You want to act like the guy's your best friend.
So he comes out, shoots you 3 times, basically doesn't even give you a chance to explain who you are.
No, he said don't move. But I moved. But it's 5:30 in the morning.
Of course.
You know who's not going to move?
Yeah. When a guy with a gun.
Yeah,
is,
but I
it's
didn't know he had a
natural-
gun until I got shot.
Did you feel it? Did you know you were hit?
Oh
as soon as
yeah,
you got hit?
I could see it. I could see
Right.
him pointed at me in the flash coming out of the gun.
Where'd he hit you? Like,
1 and 2, and then I got grazed.
oh, you're lucky to be alive.
Yeah, I know.
So lucky. He hit you where you hit Chris Moltisanti.
Yeah, I lost my spleen too.
I mean, get the f-
Yeah,
out
I
of here.
did. Right?
If you ain't an actor, if you ain't Italian, bro, don't tell me you're a Spanish kid. You're an Italian kid because this is operatic. Okay.
I got no spleen, Gene, for
That
real.
is okay. So then what happens? Then you get hit. You go down.
No, my fight or flight kicked
Right, of
in. I
course.
started grabbing my stomach and I got to a safe place. Because at this point, he's shooting the guy I'm with. And the guy I'm with's going, ah! He's like getting riddled.
So he
I'm
got
like,
lit
what?
up.
Yeah.
Did he get killed?
No, he got shot 9 times and he was able to get off the one shot that hit the police officer in the heart and killed him.
Whoa.
Pierced his heart.
So did he shoot while he was still standing
See,
up?
you didn't know that, right? That we
Of
got
course
shot?
not. That's why I brought you in here, dog.
Imagine that's 9 shot, 12 shots versus 1 shot, but we're protecting ourselves. We were drug addicts. We were looking to get more drugs.
Whoa.
Is being a drug addict a good thing? No. Is it something that you can't help? Pretty much not. You can't help it at a certain
That's
time. It's
wild.
not like we intentionally went there to do this. They make it like, you know, we're like some group that goes out and kills cops. I had never had any problems with cops. I had friends that were cops. I still to this day have friends that are cops. You know what I mean?
So he
and
hit
it's
this
such
guy-
a sin that this was turned into
He hit this guy 9 times, didn't kill him. The guy, does he fall before he gets his gun out to shoot at the cop?
I wasn't there.
Because you were running.
I didn't run. I was like walking
Yeah,
really
yeah.
fast to get out of there.
Wow. Okay, so
Yeah.
he kills him instantly with 1 to the heart.
I don't think it was instantly. I think he died on the scene like an hour
Okay.
later.
Wow. I'm sweating. This is wild. Okay, so how do you get to the hospital? How does he get to the hospital?
Ambulances.
Yeah, you get to you. So you get the ambo there. You're charged with first degree murder. Like what
No,
happens?
I'm charged with 2nd degree felony murder. He's charged with 1st degree.
And how long did you fight the case for?
I was there for 3 years. Before,
You were in jail.
Yeah, for 3 years.
Were you at Rikers?
Yeah, it was Rikers.
How the f- was that?
Well, it was what it was. You know, it's
Yeah.
a bad place. You know, but you make it through, and you just hope.
Because I spent 8 months in county jails, kind of like Rikers,
Yeah,
but
because it's city jail,
yeah,
county jail.
Yeah, it's brutal.
There's nothing like Rikers, though.
None like Rikers.
Nothing in this country. There's
No.
not nobody like as far as a jail. I don't think there's any jail.
Well, it's
in
a
this country.
penitentiary, really. It's such a brutal place because it's a penitentiary for people that have not been convicted of crimes, which is against the Constitution. The only thing I can compare it to is the L.A. downtown that they call it the Tombs. Well, they call this the Tombs in
Tombs,
downtowns,
yeah.
but in L.A., the L.A. County Jail they call it a mini penitentiary. Somebody gets killed there every day. But wow, so you're fighting your case for that. You don't have bail, or you can't
No,
come
they
up
didn't
with the
give me-
money.
No, we could get back. We put together bail packages with houses and this. They would not give me bail.
Wow.
And that's a bunch of too. That should be illegal. The only reason why they said a bail is to secure one's appearance in court. That's the only reason for bail, is to secure the appearance.
Yeah.
It's not for punitive reasons.
Right.
But they use it for punitive reasons all the time.
Now,
There's no reason I shouldn't have got bail.
Did this
No
happen
way.
in Yonkers?
No, it happened in the Bronx, in Pelham Bay.
Oh, okay. So that's more of like a conservative place, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's like a wise guy area.
Yeah.
There's some organized crime in that area.
but it's also like you get a lot of people that love the cops, and so that probably has something to do. If you're getting tried up there, that probably has something to do with
it was Bronx Supreme Court.
Bronx Supreme. That's weird.
And I don't
man.
think Bronx people really like cops.
Really?
Nah, for the most part.
Okay. This is a Long Island. I'm thinking
Yeah.
I'm like stereotyping like Brooklyn or Long Island.
Yeah, my lawyer said that it couldn't have happened in a better place than the Bronx.
Right.
You have your best shot in the Bronx.
Because cops are killing a lot of people up there themselves.
Well, you know what it was? I remember at that time, the statistic was 73% murder conviction rate, and that was in 08.
73% conviction.
Right. That's not a lot.
I guess not.
Murder
conviction rate. Yeah.
Murder's hard to prove, especially when it's
Yeah.
like premeditated.
Right.
You got to prove a lot.
Well, DAs are stupid too, and they overcharge. They overcharge people, and then the jury's like, well, okay, they did kill the guy, but it wasn't premeditated.
No, it started a bar fight.
Yeah.
They went outside and shot the guy. That's a manslaughter.
Right. So, okay, so you're fighting your case for 3 years. Your boy or your ex's father, is he also at Rikers?
Yeah.
Wow. And so
They had us
he's
together, but then they split us up.
so he's charged with first degree murder. Now, what happens with that? You guys take it to the box. Do you have separate lawyers?
Yeah, we got
Do you go
separate
to
lawyers.
court separately, or are you there in court together?
We went to court together for the first few years, but then we had a case severance. We severed the case. You ever hear the Bruton rule?
No.
The Bruton rule is like the right to cross-examination, because the statements that he made against himself, they were so strong, and they made the case so strong, they had to try us separately because they didn't. This was the choice. He has these statements that are very incriminating against him, so it's either you keep those incriminating statements, but you got to sever the case, because now this he's mentioned in the statements. You can't. It's too much confusion, and you can't try together.
What
you either throw all the statements away, we start fresh, or you sever the case and you keep the statements.
What kind of damning statements though? It's self-defense. What am I missing here?
Well, they didn't think it was self-defense. They're trying to say that he shot first a cop that was carrying a 9mm K9, a Car 9. So they're saying Stephen Armento shot him first. He only got shot once. It was a fatal shot that pierced his heart and killed him. Okay, so obviously it's a very fatal shot. Did a lot of damage, this shot. So you're trying to say that after a .357 bullet, okay, with hollow tip bullets, hit you from that close, did that, a bullet, a shot that eventually killed you. So you're going to say after that happened, you were able to shoot both of us?
9 times.
Mortally wounded on the floor.
Right.
That's number one, but if you're saying this guy is the aggressor and he shot first, what's to say he's going to let you shoot him? If he shot you first, right, and now you're on the floor and you're collecting yourself, if he already shot you and he didn't even see the gun, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're just saying he shot you just off seeing you, boom, he shot you. But now you're showing a gun and you're lifting up. He's just going to stand there?
Don't they have
Right or wrong, though? He's just going to stand.
No, of course,
I just
it's
shot
ridiculous. No, it's ridiculous. But don't they
But
have?
now I stop when you have
Hang
the
on.
gun?
Don't they have ballistics people that can tell, like, oh, okay, the bullet was shot from a standing position? Like, didn't your lawyer bring in any of these people to discredit that?
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Did you have good lawyers?
Yeah, I had Tacopina. He was Trump's lawyer. I mean, he was Trump's lawyer now, but I had him,
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's crazy that your boy, the guy's lawyer, the other co-defendant's lawyer, would let him make these damning statements that are going to.
Well, he made him in the hospital when it first happened.
Oh, and they can use
his
those.
words. His actual words were, "I shot the cop." That was one of the things. One of the things they said, "Why did you?" He had latex gloves on. I didn't have latex gloves on. He had latex gloves on. He says, in case I went in the house, I didn't want to leave prints. So you're basically saying like, what else? You know what I mean?
Okay, so you.
So those statements, they need them.
Right.
He just basically said, I'm putting them on so when I do the burglary, no one gets my prints.
Right.
So that
right there shows it's not premeditated. You're there to burglarize a house, not kill a cop.
No, but the fact that he had a gun and you're going to do a burglary, they can easily infer that you bought the gun in case someone got in the way of the burglary.
Right. But still not first degree, though.
Well, because it was a cop. That's why it was a first degree. But, you know, they charged him with intentional and felony murder. The intentional murder count, because they couldn't prove that he shot first. They didn't prove either way, but the bottom line was there was plenty of reasonable doubt that he didn't shoot first. Because how can you do that after getting damaged and hit with a bullet? See, like, one thing they can tell is, you know, like when you shoot someone, that flash comes out of the gun. That flash comes out of the gun, it burns you. And those burns are in dots. You know what that's called? That's called stippling, okay? Stippling. So now, it's like when you throw sand at someone, obviously, the closer you are, the less it's going to dissipate. It only went like that. But now you're further, it's going to come out more. So now, based on those the concentration of the dots, they can tell, okay, this guy was about 12 to 18 inches away, or this guy was that. They were able to tell that kind of stuff. But the only way they can really tell who shot first if somebody was there watching it. It's all right, this guy shot first, and then it's like, okay, well, did you have your glasses on? Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, was it dark out? Yes, it was. So can you honestly say that you know 100% what you saw without your glasses on? Can you say 100%? No, I can't say 100. That's it. You know, but
So what was the convictions?
they got him on felony murder, murder in the first degree, and burglary. They convicted him of burglary. They convicted me of attempted burglary.
Why?
I don't know how because technically, a burglary, once you break the plane, whatever the plane is considered, where the screen is or whatever, once you break that plane, even if you didn't go in the house and you're like in the house, technically, once you do that, that's the plane, you broke the plane, that's a burglary. This is an attempted burglary. But I guess because they saw where the screen was broken, which I broke it. I broke it and ripped it out because it was further in. So they can say that he did break the plane because of where the screen was. So I guess in his case, his lawyer didn't do a good enough job to argue that.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something, a burglary and an attempted burglary is a big difference.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I got convicted of an attempted burglary in the first degree with serious physical injury to a non-participant. So because it was an attempt, the sentencing guideline was 3.5 to 15 years. Now, if that's a burglary instead of the attempt, that's an 8 1/3 to 25.
Right.
So I got 10, 3.5 to 15. He basically went right in the middle. He couldn't give me the max. I got no conviction.
Right.
You can't wait because it's a cop. Wipe
Right.
your ass with that. Nobody cares. There's law, there's sentencing guidelines, regardless of who it was. It could have been Gizmo.
Right. So
It's still the same thing.
So
you
they
know?
gave you 10, but you already have 3 in, so you got time served, right?
Right, and then I only had to do 5. Well, 5.5, because out of 10, you do 85% for violent.
In New York State.
Right, and then nonviolent would have been 65%.
Right. So you got to do. So how much time did you do total?
5, because I did my college.
Right.
I paid for it. It was a degree program at a Norcross Road school in Georgia, Ashworth College. I used to get the stuff.
Wait, what do you mean? You
I
did
did
college
when I was
you
there.
were locked up.
Not through the facility. I paid for it. I did my research and I found like a school that was a real degree.
How much time did they give the co-D?
They gave him natural life
Wow. And did he
without the possibility. So
And is he still in there?
yeah.
Did he?
Oh
is,
yeah. He's
Is he going to win his appeal, or has he lost all his appeals?
I don't even know. I don't know what's going on with his appeals or anything. But it's like such a
Damn, that sucks, dude.
the sister of the cop. She seemed all into it. Meanwhile, I heard from an officer from Rikers Island that his sister Rosa, Yolanda Rosa, she was like all good sister and concerned about her. But I heard she didn't even really, she was estranged from her brother. I had heard that. And then, but like now, because there's money to be made, like, you know, I look at this, it's like, you're throwing me under the bus. You know what really happened here. I guarantee you there's someone in your family that's an addict. I guarantee you, but because you see this, you don't see what's really behind this.
The fact that he was a cop made all of that null and void. Because when you kill a cop, it doesn't matter if he's a scumbag. He might be on the take. He's probably an addict. He's a cop from the Bronx, dude. He hits his wife. He's probably a piece of. That's not even a big stretch of the imagination to say. I'm sorry if you're a cop in the Bronx. We don't have any cops listening to this show. It's about criminals. But the fact that you kill a cop, we're so blinded in this country. So we revere law enforcement so much. Now, if that had happened today, by the way, in this anti-police environment, political environment we live in, the co-defendant, he might have got some leniency. But in general, up until this specific period of time in history, Americans are brainwashed to just think any violence done to a cop it must be punished to the full extent of the law.
Well, I lived it. Believe me, I saw.
That's
I know.
Crazy,
I know.
bro. This is such a fascinating.
They
They should study this in law school. You know, this kind of case study. I mean, it's a guy. Was the gun legal? Was it 357 he was carrying? It wasn't legal.
It was his father's gun that they had a chance to take off the street after the father died.
Oh,
I remember it was a newspaper thing
Yeah.
about it. But yeah, that was all in the past. I went upstate. I got my degree.
Where'd you go?
I went to Oneida, and then I went to Hudson because they closed Oneida down. I got my degree.
Was that a maximum?
No, medium.
Okay.
Medium B. You know, after I'd learned that, and I got sober in jail November 12, 2006. I overdosed. I was getting morphine and heroin at church.
In jail?
Yeah, in Rikers. Wow. And then I just got clean November 18th, 2006.
Wow.
And I never looked back. I'm clean still to this day. You know, I work out. Freaking,
You look great, man.
You know, that's my drug. Big family man. Got two beautiful nieces. They're 7. My nephew. I'm at a rehab. I'm director of public relations, a place called More Life Recovery. Like a few of the guys, addicts as well.
Yeah.
That own the company, good friends of mine.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather that over meetings, like going to NA meetings
Sure,
and stuff.
sure.
I never saw. And I want to say this. Like, I shouldn't say that. Why not? It's like what I believe in. I don't see why people go to meetings 30 years later. It
Right.
makes no sense to me. It's to save your life, not to become your life. It's like, because, like when you say this, you've got a disease and stuff like that. It's like almost like you're like someone, like they jettison you off the. All right, they put the people with these crazy freaks.
Right.
Put them over here. It's like, I don't think if you feel that way and you recognize yourself as having a disease, I don't think you could truly ever get better. Because I know it's like cancer, man. Once you get it, it's like, damn, am I going to get it again? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know.
But once you beat cancer, you don't keep taking, you don't keep doing chemo.
No.
To your point. So I don't know. Look, I go to meetings for other stuff that's going on, not drugs or alcohol, but running around with the ladies of the night, maybe we'll say, but but I love my sweetheart. I'm in a monogamous relationship now, but I there's guys in there 85 years old that are like, if I didn't go to these meetings, dude, I would be having sex with a hooker in the back of my El Camino next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so
Why
people,
wait till next week? Next week's a long time away.
yeah, you might be dead by then. You're 85.
See if I can put something together. Let's see what we can muster up tonight.
I don't know. I'm like, dude, you're 85. Who gives a
See what I got. Let me see what I got on me really quick.
So, damn, man. So when did you get back into, congratulations. I mean, do you feel like you're grateful for the experience somehow? Going to prison and this event happening to you? I mean, because you are lucky to be alive. And what a tale. The guy who gets shot in The Sopranos and killed in The Sopranos gets shot in real life. And you take a gut shot, man.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it could have turned out much worse. I could have not went to prison. I could have beat the case and got high that night. Could have came home and went, I've been on every TV. I would have been the hottest thing on the news.
Yeah.
It would have went right to my head. I would have started drinking. Hey, Merry Christmas. Because the trial, the day they gave the verdict was December 22nd. Can you imagine if I beat the case?
Yeah.
Walked right out of that courtroom?
You might have OD'd.
Are you kidding me? I've been probably dead. I would have ruined my mother's Christmas.
For sure.
Because once I had a couple of drinks, and like, this. I just
Yeah.
did 3 years. So I was
Yeah.
never coming home. And you would have definitely justified sniffing some blow.
Right.
And then you're wired out of your mind. My mom can't see me like that. We went to get
And
the
your
heroin.
tolerance is low because
Yeah.
you've been in jail.
And you die.
You're going to die.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so many overdoses in Rikers, even to this day, because you know, maybe you don't get it for a week when you first go in, your tolerance goes down, and then a batch comes through and you take it.
Now, you know the real reason why? It's all fentanyl now.
Fentanyl now, too.
Nobody even wants heroin.
Is that true?
Yeah, they don't even want heroin. I'm telling you, I'm at the rehab. I'm there, I'm there every week.
Right.
And we were actually talking about that today. And I remember one girl says nobody even wants heroin anymore.
They just want the pure fentanyl. It's
Fentanyl.
killing you. They want that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Especially if they hear someone dies, they want, oh, where did he get it? Where did she get it? It's probably,
Think about that mental illness.
Yeah, it's nuts.
The dope dealers, they want somebody to when the batch comes through, they want somebody to die because that's going to up sales. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
I mean, listen,
man.
fentanyl's a really, really dangerous thing.
Yeah.
And these people selling that, man, they should seriously go to hell. I mean, look at Robert De Niro. He just
his grandson.
he just lost his
my
grandson.
God.
This
Have you ever
doesn't discriminate. My praise go out to the family,
Yeah.
Drina, Bob De Niro.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Now, let me
I'm
ask
afraid,
you.
like I said, I would be afraid to relapse right now.
Yeah, of course.
You'd be afraid.
Of course.
Drop. What do they say? A grain.
A grain can kill you. Yeah, I know comedians because I'm a comedian in LA. I have many comedian friends who were, got a hold of that. They're no longer here. Have you talked to, what was your relationship like with Hollywood and the business after you got out of prison? Or did you become untouchable because of what had happened?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I remember, I'm not going to say the person's name, but, obviously I'd been away for 8 years.
Yeah.
I looked different,
Yeah.
like a lot changed me.
Yeah.
It's not that I changed a lot changed me in this time. And this stuff, like as an actor, that I can bring that I probably couldn't bring before. And not too many actors can just because they didn't feel those things. But, I just think that I told my manager, I said, listen, we have to start fresh. Okay. So maybe not even auditions, but maybe you could set up some general meetings. I got a partner, Woody Allen film doing that with the lady Patricia DeSerto. Went in, general meeting. She said, I'll let you know if there's something right. Woody Allen's film was right.
Which one?
Wonder Wheel. It got kind of freaking
I feel like I saw that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go rewatch it though for you.
yeah. It was small, very small
Yeah.
part. Which Belushi, Tony Chirico was in it.
Okay.
I still got the pictures. They had a freaking hairpiece on me.
Wow.
That's what the lady Patricia DeSerto said. She said, Woody loves you. He loves you. He thinks you got a great voice. And then she treaded real. She said, Lillo, Woody wants to know, would you wear a hairpiece? My hairline was back here. Not like you. Look at this. You don't got that problem.
Yeah.
But I was like, yes, I will wear a hairpiece.
Yeah. Well, you won't be in many Woody Allen movies anymore. I don't know if you've seen what's going on with that guy.
Nice. I got to be honest with you. I didn't really like working with him. I don't care. I'll say it right now.
Say it right now. Who
No,
gives a
no,
f-
he's. I mean, people think his films are great and everything and this and that, but I remember working with Chaz Palmer. Well, when we did the looping, the ADR for A Bronx
Yeah.
Tale, because Bronx Tale, De Niro shot the shit out of that movie. It was his first,
Yeah.
film, and he got all the coverage, possible.
Of course.
Because he doesn't know what he not
Yeah.
going to use. And
Yeah.
it's first time in the editing room with his film, so that was cool. So now you doing that, you think that's standard. You think every script you're going to go on is going to be, a million different shots of the same thing. And then Chaz was doing Bullets Over Broadway with Woody Allen. And he did Bullets Over Broadway. And he was like, yeah, we're done for the day. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, Woody, he only does a Steadicam master,
Yeah.
a wide lens on a master. I was like, oh, wow. He goes, you got to do it 15, 20 times sometimes to get it right. But when it works,
Yeah.
because it looks nice. Okay. All right, so we go do this film. This was in Staten Island in 2016. It was October. It was by the water. It was cold that day. I remember Woody Allen was nice. No, you cold. You want a jacket? He was like,
I said that to you?
yeah, it was like
That's
it was
so
like an
surreal.
old dad. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And he came and said, "You guys cold?"
Yeah.
And I remember, if you I'll get your jacket.
Yeah.
I mean, that was nice. But like when you got the Steadicam master, it's almost like theater. Everything's like, you know what I mean? It has to time out and it has to. So the scene is with Bobby Bacala, Sharippa from The Sopranos, and
Steve Sharippa, who known by the way.
Yeah, he wouldn't take a picture with me that
He's
day.
an asshole.
Yeah, he is. He is. Out there, he is.
I
He
love
wouldn't
it,
take a
bro.
picture of me like, dude, I liked you in The Sopranos. I didn't know you.
Take that.
And
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
like showing you respect.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
because you're on TV. It's because
it's
I
a-
actually liked you.
Yeah.
I don't give a if you're on TV. I'll
Yeah.
spit on you.
Yeah,
What, you
gives
kidding
a
me?
dude.
I really don't. But, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, come on, man. I was like such an... He goes, I'd rather not.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
like,
an asshole.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. You know, but... So Woody Allen, you know, like the scenes with these guys, and my father was like the guy. I'm holding court. These two guys are there, and we got to look for this girl. Juno Temple was the person who played the part. I'm saying, I don't care. You got to find her. She could really, really hurt us. You got to find this girl. So that was the thing, right? So, you know, the camera's timing out, and I just felt with what was being said to me, it felt like I needed to really let it sink in for a second, think, and then say, yeah, I think you're right. You know what I mean? Whatever it was, I don't remember what it was. But unfortunately, Woody thought that was, you know, like, it's not about what I saw from him. It wasn't about the actor's performance. It was about how it's going to look for him to shine.
Right.
But in other words, you're rushing me. I don't want to say this fast. I just doesn't feel right to me. You know what I mean? So he gets up out of his seat. He runs. He like skips over to me. He runs over. He goes, no pause, fast, fast, no pause, fast, fast. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But it's like, it can't be fast. Like that scene, just what was going on
Yeah.
there. It's not a fast moment. There's
Yeah.
a moment there that you got to really take that moment.
Right. Right.
And I felt so discouraged. It's like I'm
Yeah.
trying to do my best and I can't even
Right.
do that.
So Scorsese is the opposite. He is the guy that actors love to work with so much because he just lets them be free. He says, just go. Just go. Yeah. You want to take a pause? You take a pause. You do whatever
Yeah,
you want to do.
yeah.
You know? And it's a lot of freedom. Whereas but a guy like Woody Allen, and actually Louis C.K., my favorite comedian, he's kind of like that too. He's a little bit of a tyrant. Your actors are there just to be pawns in the bigger picture, you know? And that is film. Like, film is a director's medium at the end of the day.
Hitchcock used to say that actors were pawns.
Yeah. But, turns out Woody Allen, he's not just, kind of a dictator on set. He's, turns out he's a pervert and a pedophile.
Yeah.
But
he's a weird guy.
He's a weird guy.
But I didn't, that's my memory of him, but I'm still blessed to have worked and be able to put something like that on my
huge.
resume.
That's huge. That's
You know what I'm saying? But
exactly. I would do a Woody Allen film now.
Yeah,
I'm
but it's like-
gonna come online and say that.
I just thought like something like that, like people would probably say, oh, don't say that. But it's like, I
Yeah.
think that's a story that people
Right.
would want to hear.
No, of course.
Like, what are we here to tell stuff that everybody knows?
Yeah.
We
yeah,
got to
no.
tell them. I mean, we don't want to go too crazy.
Yeah.
Like we'll be,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, we're gonna go too crazy on the bonus episode, which we're gonna fade out to now. But look, you're working, man. You're working. It's very cool. I really, really appreciate you coming in and telling your story. It is an incredible one.
Thank you, bro.
And there's a purpose in it, you know? You probably already found it, but like all that stuff was supposed to happen. And I just think it's great. And keep working, man. Keep working. Is there anything you want to plug? Do you want to plug your the rehab that you work with?
definitely. Yeah, it's
Let's do that.
More Life Recovery.
More Life Recovery.
It's in Metuchen, New Jersey. They have the Sands in Florida, but Metuchen, New Jersey is where I'm at. I'm director of public relations, and like as we said before, I'm not big on the meetings because I just feel it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the same. It just doesn't do anything. I don't get anything out of it. But doing this kind of stuff, you know what I mean? It's like I run a group. I go there, and and just doing that and speaking from a place like, I don't even want to say the word authority, but from a place of experience.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, this is what I did. And I think if you did this, it would really work out well for you.
Is this an inpatient in treatment?
We have PHP. It's got different levels of care.
Yeah.
We have the PHP, which is like inpatient. We have
Yeah.
housing. We have different levels. Like this is like the newcomer comes here, and then when you get a little more seniority, you move over to this house.
Right.
So it goes from PHP to IOP. IOP is intensive outpatient. So now they still live there, but you don't, it's like you're now expected to get a job.
Yeah.
Now you're slowly re-entering society.
Right.
With the tools you're acquiring here.
Yeah.
You're doing it little by little. It's not like we just send you out to the wall. You know what I mean?
Of course.
You're doing it simultaneously, little by little. And unfortunately, sometimes, some don't get it the first time around.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle.
common, right?
So then, they'll see like they get a little complacent in their recovery, like, I've been good. Now I moved to this next level of care and, they trust me. I got a job. And
Yeah.
before you know it, so-and-so, not always.
Yeah. Well, we're going to put the link to that clinic in the description of the episode, and yeah, we're going to plug it because if people hear this, a lot of people are listening to this, so this is an inspiring story, and if you need to get clean, go check them out.
Yeah, that's everything.
If you're in the tri-state area, okay.
You could have money, have it all, but if you don't have that sobriety and your recovery, nothing is possible.
Exactly.
With it, not anything is possible. You're not going to become Michael Jordan because you got clean and you've been practicing in your backyard, but almost anything is impossible.
Totally,
So,
man.
and it works if you work it, and it's possible.
Yeah.
I'm living proof.
Yeah.
It's possible.
You happier now?
That I'm clean?
No, I mean than like the Bronx Tale years.
Yeah, I mean, the Bronx Tale years, I was like, damn, I had no clue of what I was getting into with no experience. It was like and plus with my personality, no experience. I got parents, they're immigrants.
Yeah.
Smoking weed to them was like, holy shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The devil.
So now this stuff, they don't even know what it is. If I put, well, now my mom would, because obviously, she came to visit me a lot.
Poor girl.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
But back in the day, like half of the stuff, like some of these old school Italians, they wouldn't even know what it was. What is
Thought
that?
it was
powder
oregano.
from a
Yeah.
donut? What
Right,
is it?
exactly.
It's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like they were able to help me navigate through this.
Right.
Like, yo.
And you were essentially a child actor. You were like a child star in a way.
More or less, yeah.
And look at what ends up. Every child actor who becomes a star, that all ends the same. You know, there's very few of them that dodge that trap of addiction because they're forced to grow up overnight.
No, it's not even that. It's not even forcing to grow up. You know what it is? When you're a young kid, okay, it's not common and it's not the norm where you're going to see yourself on TV. Like I've said this before, the first time I saw myself in the Bronx Tale on, by surprise, the trailer was on, it gave me such a high. Okay? So a lot of times these kids, they get roles and they're the right now, and they're getting all these roles and everything's great. That's dopamine. That causes your body to release dopamine, your brain. So you're feeling good from that. And then eventually, like, the roles start tapering off and you're not doing the same thing. So now there's like, you crave what you felt when you were doing that. So now if you discover that stuff, because it can mimic that, but it's empty and that's full, it does mimic it. So now you're confused to think, okay, when I'm not doing that to make me feel that way, now I got this.
And we fill it up with dope.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's what happens.
Right. Oh, okay.
And then before you know, but now, like, it's like the second coming. I like writing. I never thought I could, but now I got such real life experiences.
Exactly.
I see some of these writers and I'm like they try to write about things they've never experienced and you sometimes can tell.
Yeah.
It's like the nuances. They never you know what I mean? And I know like this story that I'm writing, dude, this is going to be my wrestler. I'm telling you.
Oh, good.
Trust me, dude.
Yeah.
It's called Never Meet Your Heroes. It's fucking deep. It's real.
Well, hit
it's
me up,
about
man.
addiction, bro.
Send it
It's going to
over.
resonate with people. Trust me. I started out, she knows, it started out on index cards. I would have dreams. I had all the index because I had a story, right? But obviously the screenplay's got to be at least 90 pages, a page a minute. So I got screenplay, index cards. She would bring me home from work. I still have pictures of them. I had the 3 acts and I have all the scenes. And now sometimes I got a scene here and one here, but now I got nothing here. But that's the key. The key is to put things down on paper. When you see it, it's a lot easier. That's why they say write it down, put it on paper. Bro, it's everything.
Yeah.
Because now, it's like if you were like knew you had the scene and then that scene and you got to try to bridge that gap, if it's in here, it's a lot harder for you to come up. But when you're looking at it, oh, I know what I could put here. I could just put, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I loved it, man.
Well, maybe that'll be what A Bronx Tale was to Chaz, for you. And send it over. I got some people in Hollywood. They got some financiers, Is it under $5 million? If you can make it under $5 million.
Under $5 million, I can make it under $1 million. I can make it I already got Terrell. She's agreed to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, she looks better now than she did back then.
Oh,
She, like we've spoken about what I'm writing. She loves it. And she's a great person.
Yeah.
She's got a great family. I know, her mom or dad, like
Yeah.
her husband. It's like,
Amazing,
this is going
man.
to be special.
I hope it
'Cause
comes together.
This is a piece of, I'm going to make sure it comes together.
it
I'm not a
better, man.
quitter, dude.
It better, man.
The only thing I quit is drugs. But
Yeah.
other than that, I'm going to do everything I possibly can because I know that this film can actually help people. Because it's a tale about a family, about a family that, from Yonkers and just addiction and how it manifested in different forms and just how it destroyed their lives. But eventually, ultimately, it turned out okay. But it wasn't happily ever after because everything that happened to lead up to that, it's like, but it's real. That's the thing, and that's why I think people will really love it.
Oh man, well we're gonna check it out. And the clinic, you can go see Lillo. Are you on Instagram?
Yes, Lillo Lillo _ Brancato Brancato.
Lillo, thank you so much, man. That
Thank
was
you,
killer.
Johnny.
Thank you guys. We'll see you next week. Take care. And switch over to Patreon now. We're gonna talk a little bit of like fun Hollywood stuff. Maybe talk about Prison Stretch. Go over to patreon.com/The Connect Show and take care of yourself. Peace.